Welcome to part 2 of week 18, vendor management. We're going to talk about building relationships, contracts, performance, et cetera, et cetera. So let's jump into it. For simple service contracts, and these are going to be the people, accountants, lawyers, stuff like that. There shouldn't be much to scrutinize there in terms of the contracts. So you just need to be clear on what it is that they're delivering. Like I will be, my company will be at your building once a week to maintain the facility, whatever it is. So just be clear on what they deliver and when they deliver it. Make sure that there's always a way to fire them without any kind of charge. You don't want to have to pay them for X number of weeks or whatever. You need to be able to fire any of your vendors for any reason without any kind of penalty. You want to obviously work out the best payment terms you can. So there's a fine line between paying early and getting like the early pay discounts and pushing it out 30 days. If you can push out all of your payments out as far as you can, generally speaking, it's probably better because you're going to hold on to your money longer, which is important for cash flows and working capital. But there's some calculations you can do. We kind of touch on it in finance, but if you have any kind of questions, talk to, an accountant or a finance expert to kind of help you figure that out. And the only thing you really need to check is insurance for their employees. So if they come into your building and they fall down and break a leg, are you responsible for that, or does that fall on them? Insurance is important. So just think about that for the simple service contracts. For the more complicated ones, you want to, again, look at the payment terms. If you're small or new, you're not going to have much leverage here. In fact, some vendors might require that you're COD, like they drop it off. You have to give them a check right there. The payment terms are probably going to favor the vendor. So just keep that in mind. Again, you're small, you're new, you don't have much pull. You can always renegotiate later, but you're just gonna have to kind of put up with it when you're first starting out. A lot of them might require some sort of credit card or personal guarantee. So if you have to do it, you have to do it. They might require a credit card in terms of if you want to be able to, like if you want to get terms, let's say you want 2-week terms, they'll say, okay, we'll give you 2-week terms, but we need a credit card just in case. So think of that. I mean, it's fine to put that down if you're going to pay your bills on time, and it's a good way to build up that credit, that reputation. So when you bring on other vendors, you can use that vendor as a reference to say, hey, I've got good credit with this particular vendor. Again, you want to push for the longest terms possible and don't get fooled by those early pay discounts. It might make sense to save 2% if you pay within 5 days, but 2% is not a lot of money if you're talking about thousands of dollars that you could pay in 30 days instead. The personal guarantee, I would recommend you avoid this as much as possible. Just put a credit card down. You don't want to be on the hook for that. Personally, you want your business to be on the hook, and that's why you have an LLC to protect you from all of that other stuff. And then a lot of vendors, they will require references. It's kind of hard if you're new. Like they might just, at that point, you're going to have to just give them a contact at your bank, and the bank's going to have to just say, yeah, they have cash in the bank account. I don't know what it is, but that's something that you're going to have to consider. And that's just another reason why you want to be good to your vendors, because they're going to talk with each other, and you want that good reputation. We're going to get into vendor performance. This is where you can get some leverage with your sales rep, at least, if not the entire vendor. So you want to start talking to them in their contracts about compliance. Now, if you're new, if you're small, if you don't have that pool, it's very unlikely that you'll get any kind of like compliance in there. But some things that you want to think about and you want to at least track is going to be the vendor accuracy. So this is just some simple math of units received versus units ordered to get, your order accuracy percentage. I ordered 100 units last month. I got 95 in. You're at 95%, order accuracy. And that also goes for getting what you actually ordered. So just because I sent 100 units doesn't mean that it's the 100 that you actually wanted. Delivery times is something else you can talk about for compliance. How often are they late? Are they, their on time percentage, that type of stuff. You may not be able to get money from your vendor for this, but you can use it to, with your rep. If you complain enough, you can get some free stuff. I don't know, maybe some sort of compensation. Again, like the squeaky wheel gets the Greek. So um, you want to just track your vendor's performance if you can. And just remember that they're tracking you just as much as you could be tracking them. And you track your problem customers, they're going to track you if you're a problem customer. So just keep that in mind. Lastly, we're going to talk about building relationships. So customer service, if you're talking with customer service, and you're going to hear about that more next week, but that may or may break the deal. It has for me in the past. Having somebody who has great customer service, I'm willingly will pay more for that service, just knowing that I'm going to get the best in terms of I can call them on off hours and get off day deliveries, and they're going to do everything they can for me. I've chosen vendors based solely on that. Trust is something that you need to think about when it comes to building these relationships. So in theory, they have the best, your best interest in mind, but that may not always be the case. Because they're in this business to make money as well. So you want to trust that they're going to do the best thing for you, but you also want to verify that they are actually doing that. So you want to just work with your reps and your vendors to build that trust and build more of a personal relationship beyond that professional relationship. And speaking of that, you can trust your vendors in theory, but you also want to keep as much information as you can as close to you as possible. Because I know for a fact that vendors talk with each other, and possibly not in the same industry, but they will talk with each other. And I know for a fact through experience that vendors love to talk about other customers to customers. So you don't want to be that person who's given up information to your competition through one of your vendors. So again, give them as much information as they need to know, but you don't need to overshare with that. Again, culture is important, so they should fit your culture personally as well. So the sales reps, if you are laid back, it's great if your sales rep's a little laid back. Obviously, you want them to do their job, but you don't want them to come in and start barking orders at everybody or whatever it is. You want them to fit your culture. And then one of the bonuses, or two of the bonuses for building relationships, is you can start working out favors and deals. So if you've got that good personal relationship with your sales rep, let's say, or their customer service person, you pay on time, you're not a problem customer, you only cause a stink when it's necessary. They can be a great resource for you when you need them. So if you're having a problem, and we've talked about this in the disaster preparedness, if you're having some sort of issue or whatever, you can talk to your vendors. It's possible they've already been through it with another customer. They can give you advice. They might have resources, et cetera. And then you can also work out deals. That's always a good part of having that relationship is, hey, I'm a good customer, hook it up. So that's it on vendor management. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we've got some PDFs for you as well.